What's up, YouTube fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey, and I figured it's backtesting time, y'all. So it's been somewhat of a decent week for trading for me, even if it's been a bit insane overall. I think trading in these super volatile times is some of the best practice, right? So I figured I could continue on understanding how BTC and ETH moves. So I've been trading ETH a lot more lately. So I'm gonna play with her a bit. Is she a her? I don't even know. Who the heck knows, right? But anyway, so as always, it's gonna be price action all the way and trying to understand the market structure and the shifts so I know when things are gonna go belly up for me. All right? All right, if that sounds like a good time, let's press the replay button and do our, Stevie Wonder thing, and let's get to it. Okay, where are we? Why are we always in August? You know what? I'm curious. Well, whatever. We picked what we picked, okay? So let's go find some price action stuff. Let's find some confluences. I am going to keep my imbalance finder on. I'm gonna get my fractal buddy up. Higher highs, higher lows. I'm gonna leave the 50 EMA going just as a trend. Something to remind me of the trend. And we are in a downtrend, so yay. All right, so let's head down to the 4 hour for some analysis. Well. So I'm gonna use the 4 hour, 1 hour, and 15 and/or 5 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling and what the structures are looking like. All right, so it looks like we are in an uptrend on the 4 hour. So things that I like to do is mark out my areas of supply and demand. So, and potential target areas and all that jazz. So where have we been? So, we just made a W. It's a bit of a continuation pattern. Did we close a candle above this section here? Let's see. Came up a little bit. It's a higher high. If this is going to be a trend continuation, let's figure out where we can go. All right. So let's look to the left. Always look to the left. I'm looking up at my screen here, so if it's looking weird, don't judge me. All right, let's look to the left. So where are we? Let's see. Are we in some sort of SR area? I would say that's a resounding yes. And let's get some confirmations here. Let me adjust it. All right, so we're in a area here. We've been getting rejected from that space. And let's roll back up. Okay, yep, got a number of confirmations there. All right, so what I want to see, and I'm thinking about like areas where price can go, right? So if we're in an uptrend, I'm going to do this. I'm going to spec out an area as a potential, range. And let's test that puppy out. Okay. So as an approximation of, where we could go for a take profit if we're going up. And I need a couple of things. So what I'm looking at here on the 4 hour is we had this low for a break and we seem to be cooling. So I haven't really gone very far on that guy on the 4 hour. And this higher low isn't that convincing, but do we have any juicy breaks? So we have semi-juicy break from here. We'll come back to that if price does anything juicy over there. We've got this failed area, this failed break. We didn't go lower, we went up higher, but we do have this lower high. All right, let's push price forward one candle. Let's see. Okay, so we're getting we're showing some serious weakness for price going up any higher. So where could we go? Lower. We have this imbalance down here. So how much of it have they eaten? Let's just plop that up on the charts here. So we have this imbalance we can eat. There is another tiny one down here. And this is a potential area where price stopped last time. You know, it hung out. And lower down, we have another juicy break area down here. But it's not focused on any of that. So let's focus on targets. We've got what looks like basically almost equal lows area. We have this imbalance and this imbalance as potential targets if it's going to turn around. So I want to see like okay. So what I'm thinking to myself here is this. We have two options. We have the option where we have this juicy break. We're still up, the 50s telling me still an uptrend. Whether or not it's tired, you know, we could retrace back down to this imbalance right here and then continue back up above it and do this and then come into this area. So what I'm looking for potentially is if we're going to see the retrace, I want to see something that tells me that it's going to pop back up, right? Double bottom, bullish engulfing, candlestick pattern, anything, right? Along with that, so in preparation for that, let's do this. So we have this dragon fruit area right here. So beautiful demand space that we can play with. Dragon fruit, we're in an SR area. I'm concerned that this break is not that strong, but let's see. But we did make a W down here. It might be trying to go back up. So let's let this play out. Oh, okay. So this is why I was like, I don't trust it really. So we had this like tiny consolidation and we dropped down into this area. So let's go down to the 1 hour and see if we're going to find anything to tell us that we might be turning around. Okay. So let's push that. And on the 1 hour, still on an uptrend. Technically. All right. So we just busted below here. Okay. We have this one that's already been eaten, break a block area. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, so just gotta wait, right? Is that a hammer? We have a doji or harami or whatever. Okay. All right, so we're seeing some slowing down of this. We're in the general vicinity. Just out of curiosity, since we've just made this low, I'm gonna add my Fibby. I need to fix that. It's way too dark. The colors. The backgrounds are too much. I just want to see the one. I don't know why I turned everything down so low. I don't really care about the rest of them. I just want to see this guy and that guy. Oh, I want to see the 0.2 too. Just that. Here's my 0.2. Let's make that white. It's possible. Good. Good. I don't want it to take away from what I'm seeing. Okay, so I've got a doji and the 1 hour. And okay. Now I'm looking for, since we're turning around, I'm looking for an entry somewhere from here, under there, and I'm gonna ride it up to the 0.2 because that's gonna give me 1.84. It's better than 1-to-1. Honestly, if this is gonna keep going up, I want to see it, I wanna go this way, and I'll take like 50% at 0.2, approximately. We're not in it yet. Right? We've seen a couple candles here. Let's go down to the 50-minute and see what's forming down here. So I'd like to see like a double bottom or something that tells me that price is not going to go below this little section here. If price busts below that, then I'm not entering. It's just that simple. So let's let this play out. Okay. 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 And, could look for a break. All right. So we're very bullish coming up. I'm going to enter now. Okay. And let's see if I am wrong. Which I could just as easily be wrong. Who the hell knows, right? Oh, now one thing that I have not done, and this is the double bottom. Well, it busted through that. Hold on. So the one thing that I had not done is add the ATR, one ATR to it. So it'll probably be a lot lower on the stop loss there. But let's say, I keep forgetting when I do these to do that. So the ATR at that point was 1023. So the stop loss is here. So that's 1667 minus 1023. So that's like 1657. Something like, would I have still been stopped out? Something like that. And change. Just barely. Let me calculate it properly because I'm just the whole stop loss thing is still a bit of a struggle. And I might have entered too early already as it is. So this was at 1667.20, 1667.24 minus 1023. That's 1023. So 1657.01. And sometimes this thing, 1667. Hold on. Let's just open this up. Stop loss 01. Yeah, we would have been stopped out, y'all. Oh man. Okay, so we're stopped out. So we're one for, let me pull this down. We're one for whatever right now. One loss. Okay, so we made this high. Nice bullish candle, then we drop back down right immediately. Let me bring up my scoreboard here. Let's go. Wins 0, losses 1. All right. So that one's done. Do we have an opportunity for re-entry? Let us see. So this, oh wow. So we have 2 options in here, right? It looks like it wants to turn around maybe, right? It came up to hit this break area and dropped like a stone. So it broke my rule barely. Actually, did it? Still hasn't closed anything below that. Okay. So we have this break right here, juicy as all get out. And dang, let's go back up to the 1 hour because what are we looking at? All right. One thing to note, I am going to add this line item as a juicy natural supply area. As a rally base drop type situation. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. Anyway, so I would be looking for a short from up here if that's the case. And on top of that, we do have this juicy dragon fruit with the imbalance attached to it. So let's pop that supply area up. Okay. So, oof, this is juicy. I'm looking for an entry right about here. Well, we'll wait for that to come play out, but I just want to remind myself that I'm looking for this type of entry right here. Okay, so what do we have? We have what looks like, yeah. So we have what looks like still hasn't closed below this thing. That's our area technically. Let's take a look at another candle. We're getting rejected. Kind of have a doji there. And well, that is an evening star if I've ever seen one. Okay, so what do we have? We've got this drop, retrace. There's a potential for it to and it may not, because we're in this demand area here. And we just made ourselves another small, tiny supply area. See, yeah. With an imbalance, which it tapped, and we have this evening star. So the question is, and rejection, but we're still in the area. Let me move my wins and losses over. What does this look like on the 15? Okay, so what's the structure? Consolidation. Oh, sorry. Let me remove my Fibby because it's not going to be helpful to me at the moment since price is not doing what I thought it was going to do. So as structures go, we've dropped, retraced, dropped. It hasn't retraced. So a potential entry is if it's going to go lower, and I'm trying to be flexible here, is something like this. And we can write it to the left, write it down to the imbalance that's down here. I'll go somewhere in the middle. Okay, let's see how this, the other option is they could just drop like a stone from here, right? So let's see, because what I would like is since it dropped here, could we trace back up to this guy and then continue back down, which would make my entry somewhere over here instead. That would give me a 1 to 3 or so approximately. All right, so we've got one stopped out. Let's see. All right. Okay, we're coming up. Well, the 50 seems to not want to make it go any higher. And let's see. Okay. All right, coming up to eat those imbalances. All right, so we're up to an area. Now I need something to tell me it's going to continue lower. Okay, so that can be a candlestick pattern. So we got a doji with a red, which is technically a thing. So I'm going to draw my Fibby from up here. So I just need my OTE. Let's see if it all jives together. And my optimal trade entry is right here. Okay. So let's see about entering at the open of the next candle right here. And we're off to the races. So we're in and go. And stopped out. So my original plan was right. So stopped out twice. And look at that. I tried to go against the demand area. This thing worked like a charm, and I should have just paid attention to it because look at that. Look at how beautifully that busted up into that space. Like, dang. Okay, so what did we learn? Follow the price action, right? On the 1 hour, like these dojis would have told me they're not going anywhere. And this is a big juicy candle. The fact that we hadn't broke below this area that I had marked out earlier, I should have just been like, we're not breaking. We got 2 tests of this area. Go back up. But sometimes you just, you try and follow the price and sometimes it can be too much. Okay, so now we're back up to this area of Awesomeness. Now, what are we going to do? We've just popped back up. We're probably going to pop right back down. So let's see what the next candle is. It's another green candle. So it's probably going to be a continuation. Wicks, wicks. Okay, so we finally made a higher high. So we've got to retrace at some point to continue back up. So my first assumption looks like it might be correct. So let's see. Okay. Supply area, come down. Man, this thing works like a charm. I really should pay attention to it. Doji's in it, nothing closing below it. Price is going back up. All right, so what are we looking at? So we're coming back down into the supply area of this general space that I thought would be a good thing. Let's see. So I need a green candle for intention. Oh, hell yeah. Look at that. Sorry, guys. Haha. Morning star. So I am going to be bold because the last time I saw something like this, and we're coming off of a supply area, but there's this big imbalance below here that's really scary. So I'm gonna go for 1 to 2. And let's go down to 15 minutes and see what this looks like. Okay. All right, let's just do it. Just go. We're somewhat of a strong uptrend. Come on, baby. Give me a win today. Because my first plan was right. Just. Ah, and there we go. All right. So my first win right there. All right. So 2 losses and 1 win. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the 1 hour and see what we're doing. I don't know why. So this did not play out the way I wanted it to. So we're in a new zone. So let's clear that out just to make life a little simpler. We'll keep that. Come back to that, delete that. Trying to keep the charts clean, right? Okay, so now where are we? We're in an area of where price has been rejected from before. So now we got to see if we're cooling. So at this point, now that my self-fulfilling prophecy has worked, and I should have listened to myself down here, but okay, that's fine. Now I'm looking for some cooling, a double top like that for a continuation back down to the supply area. All right, something like that. All right, so let's get rid of our 1 win. Hopefully it nets more than our 1 or 2 losses. All right, so looks like we're cooling. Let's let the candles. Oh, okay. You're thinking about it. So this is a break. It's not the best break. Not super excited about it. We got some, what is that? The 3 crows at the SR area. I'm going to look at, I downloaded like candlestick patterns to review when I see them. So from up here. Huh. Okay. Oh, I thought I had my I do, but it's so we have a break technically about here. Actually, the break's all the way down here, which means the order block is right around here. So not quite. Oh, but look, we have this juicy break right here. And this supply area. Make sure I got it. Boom, 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 something like that. With the imbalance, which makes us a nice little dragon fruit. And I lost those first two because I didn't trust the confluence in the area below because they had, the area, the dragon fruit, should have just trusted it. So that's something I need to work through. Sorry guys, I know this part is boring, but and I could have done the extension thing, but I don't like that as much. So we've got the supply area, dragon fruit, SR. All right, so what I want to see now that we know this is here, I want to see this, I want to see this, and I want to see this, like that. Something like that. It's already tapped that. So let's let price play out. Okay, so we just made a higher low. Continue on. It's fine. So I want to see a lower high. Oh, look. On the 1 hour, we've got this lower high and what looks to be an evening star. Let's continue on down. I want to see a lower low. Or a nice candle forming, nice juicy red candle forming below the thing. So my other thing here is if there's not a candle that's gonna sorry about this. I don't want a candle to pass this guy. So all right, we just made a lower low, and it seems like if this is going to continue up, there shan't be any candles that close below this guy. But if it does, then okay, so we're coming back up. So we haven't had a candle close below it yet. And looks like we're consolidating, and we're coming up, and we're coming up. All right, so just because this made it, we need to watch the price action, trying to see something a little bit more juicy. Okay, so now we have this big juicy candle coming up to break this, closed above that guy. So this double bottom was valid. This one was not. So technically I should have entered here. So having not done that, just got this juicy candle in our supply area with this guy. And let's see if we see a turnaround for a short, because that's what I'm technically looking for. Okay, so let's see here, still going up. All right, so looks like the double bottom was the better indicator versus this stuff. Figure that out. All right, so now if this is the case, we've made a higher high, then I'm looking for retrace, continuation, and I can enter back in this way. All right, so let's see. All right, it also could just be a fake out too. Looks like, let's go. We could have written this up too, but I haven't marked anything out for it to go higher. So just for funsies, let's look to the left. What's a potential? Let me just drop that in there just as a potential area it could fly up to. Always good to know where it could go, right? All right, so, and I should have been paying attention to my 50. It's still going up. Price is still going up. We've been going up this whole time. Another thing we could also do is add a trend line. When that's broken, that could give us some clue, right? So still looking for longs in this area. I can get rid of this because that, and it just occurred to me, guys. It just occurred to me that uptrend, right? 50 still showing up. Then, and if I'd drawn this trend line, I would have had a pretty good idea that it had touched the trend line and we could have ridden it back up. What would that have looked like? So touch first green candle above the 50, something like that. And then 1 to 2. Boom. Done and dusted. It didn't do that though, so. All right, so we've got a little ways to go. We haven't entered into any trades because I want to see the structure play out. And this is a consolidation. And if I had had the trend line, sometimes these things can be really helpful. We would have seen that it was coming back down, and once it broke out of it, there you go. All right, so let's continue along. So now we're looking for the retrace and continuation back up, potentially. Let's see. We're doing it, coming in here. We made a higher low, so I'm favoring a high long at this point. So let's see, we're coming up on this trend line thingy. Okay, it looks like this is the retrace, these green candles. We're close to this thing. I'm looking, let's see, can I get a 1-2 from here? Just under this thing. Looks like that's a yes. So what if I'm seeing this green candle, what if I entered here? Something like that. 1-2. What's that look like? Like that, approximately. I'm looking for a pullback though. What's my next candle? Yeah. So I'm looking for that pullback right there because I don't like that entry. And now that we've made a new structure, I have a new, let's delete all this stuff for the time being. I have a new check, right? That base. Right. So if nothing closes below that, and we have the trend line, and we just tapped it, right? So the next green candle, I'm thinking I'm in. Let's move this over. So we just tapped it. All right, nice green candle. I'm gonna pop in right here with the start of the next green candle after that. I'm gonna put it below the 50, and let's do our 1-2, and let's press play. And this is on the 1 hour. Should probably have popped into the 15-minute to see what's happening. And then we would have seen this morning star form, and we would have entered over here. But okay, let's go back to the 1 hour, and let's press play. Okay. Whoa. Still a higher low. Oh, stopped out. But simple facts, right? If I'd been watching this and I entered here, once I saw the candle oh, you know what? I'm being stupid again. You guys, I'm being stupid again. Because we had this area here that price wasn't supposed to break above. It hasn't. Probably not going any higher. And if we look at structure, so now we can actually look into our shorts. Now, if I've been properly paying attention to the structure, this worked for like 2 seconds, right? How far in did we get? See? 1-1. We taken it there, 1-2.7. Well, whatever the case, we lost. I need to add to the it's 1 hour. Let's see. And where's my wins and losses calculator? Okay, so we're at 1 win, 3 losses. I will own that. Okay. So we're back into our supply area, and we've just made a swing failure right here. So what am I looking for? A pullback, which appears to be happening to eat this imbalance. Beautiful area for an entry right here. There's also a tiny imbalance up here, so they may pop up and eat that. So I'd wait for that to happen. So let me just put that in here. So I'm looking, and let's plop our fib on, because I want to see my optimal trade entry, the base of this thing. All right, so I want my entry to be in the middle of this. Yes. So what I would do in this situation is set a limit order with my stop loss being right above there because price hasn't popped that way. And we've just made a low. And my take profit can be done by this point too, which is back to this area where we're hanging out for. So let's see if price comes back up. It doesn't have to, right? Price will do what it wants to do. Oh, look. All right, we have the strong green candle. So I want to be entering on the next. And we're in my optimal trade entry. So let's say I've put my limit order in. I'm in on the next candle. And I could be wrong. So the next candle is a red candle. And let's press play. Oh, did we get? Okay. So that's a better analysis than my previous one. So now I understood structure and the pullback, and I use the fib to plot out my appropriate entry and take profit. And that worked really well. Nice. I like that. So if we have market structure sorted out, that's 2 wins. Oops, wrong place. That's 2 wins and 3 losses. Okay. So now that the trend has changed, and again, something that I didn't do when I was paying attention to this is I did not pay attention to, and it can actually come back right. It's going to come back right back down to this area right here. And actually, the supply thing is dead. There's a giant imbalance here for yumminesses, for yummy eats. It is a natural supply area, so a target with an imbalance in an area. So, okay, what are my new options, right? Okay, so what are we looking for? So we have this giant imbalance up here, right? And we have this juicy break with this supply area right here. Let's pop that in. Okay. And it's rinse and repeat, guys. It's rinse and repeat. The 50 is pointing down. Momentum has shifted from this trend line to this way. So let's take that out. And this already happened. So now we've got this pullback and a lower low. All right. So we already know what we're looking for with that M formation. So we have this juicy break, a potential for it to come back up here. New assumption, draw my fib from this area and bring it to my lowest low right here. And my ideal entry is right here. So we've changed directions. I'll set my limit order to in the middle of this thing right here. My stop loss all the way. Actually, I'm going to use this one. Nope. I'll put it above this thing. And notice I didn't use the ATR there again. And I'll plan for this 0.27. Doesn't have to go all the way back up there, but that's what I'm looking for. So let's see. I'm gonna do, and we have this area of consolidation, so I can't guarantee it's gonna go back up. But I'm looking for that for the juicy break. And these guys don't seem to want to close. And I'm just keep drawing these to remind myself, like, from the bodies. They don't want to close below here, so this might pop back up. So this might be a potential to write it in both directions, right? So if I was being really stupid, which is a potential, and forever, don't judge me. Let's say I was being stupid and I wanted to write it back up. And I put in nice bullish candle. I put in, and this one I don't trust, so I'm going to put in a very quick stop loss right here. I'm going to write it back up to where I want to enter. Actually, I'm going to write it back up to this 1 to 2 imbalance right here. And I'm just playing in the 1 hour. Is that going to work? We're in a downtrend. Hold on. So, holy wow, it did work. Look, we barely made that one. So we saw this rejection down here. We saw this bullish candle, we took it, and we barely took our profits. Look at that. So that's a 3 for 3 on that one. Because I was like, you know what? It's a potential, right? Why not? If we think it's going to go back up and we see some stuff, why not? Okay, so that's good. So price came all the way back up to eat this imbalance. It never made it to my limit order, so this order is dead. Okay, and this fib is dead, and the supply area is mostly dead. They haven't eaten that. All right, so we're about 40 minutes in on this back testing session, and we are 3 for 3. And let's do one more as a tiebreaker, right? So we have this natural supply area, and we're just going with the flow, right? So far, what do we have? We have this juicy imbalance, and then we had this juicy break, which did not work. Now we have another break right here. That one's juicy. We busted below here. So what's our options? There's an imbalance above, which makes me nervous for a potential entry. There's no imbalance here. So I don't know if I feel comfortable about that one. Do we have a trend forming? No, I'm not gonna. All right, one more trade for the books. Looks like we did have ate all that liquidity. Actually ate all this liquidity. Boom. Nice. Okay, let's delete that. All right, what are our options? Now we need to see. Okay, we've come into the supply area. There's a lot of juicy things in here. So potential options are, if we're still in this downtrend, which we are, is come back down, retrace, continuation to continue eating this thing, right? Continuation until it comes onto this new demand area, which is a dragon fruit again. Let's put that there. So if that's going to happen, let's see. Do we get the retrace? So if I were to draw my fib, this one's going to be a little rough, I think. I don't think it may or may, the fib says potentially price will pop back all the way up to here and then continue on down. So if that's the case, and that's a long stop loss. If I want an entry like this, write it back down to the 0.27. I don't know. Let's see. Does that work? Because that's pointing down. There's this break right here. Just eaten this and created a doji there. So, and evening star. So I'm going to go down to the 15 minute for a different potential entry because I don't feel like it's going any. We just made a lower high, but we haven't made a lower low. That can be a bit scary. We just made a higher low on the 15. So let's continue on and wait because the evening star, technically I should have it's a stronger view on the 1 hour, and it formed at this area where they could not, it's an area of interest where they could not do anything. So, all right, so I'm seeing this. Let's choose to take the short from here and pop that up to the above there. And let's get a 1 to 2. Well, look, it's right at the, whatever. I could be wrong. That's the probabilities. And I am wrong. Stopped out. So the trade I should not have taken is the one that finishes it. So we are at 3 wins and 4 losses. Something like that be a good time to stop. But I am curious about my stop limit order. from up here. So let's see if it pops back up to, you suck. Okay, so it does not, but it ends up doing exactly what I wanted if I hadn't been stopped out. Well, no, that's not right. I would have still been stopped out. Still going down, I should have found an entry here, you know. Nice. All right, well, simple fact is 3 wins, 4 losses. Still not a bad day. And let's see, has there been any movement out of this miasma? Miasma? Nope. I mean, gross. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this alone. Nope. All right, guys. This was fun for me. I've learned a lot. Let's recap. Market structure is king. Following your process, if you've got one to test for something, is also king. Because that quick trade I took to grab like a little bit of this worked out like the boss because they were wicking out. Boom, boom, up. They have not come back up for this yet. They probably will. They have not come back up for this. This M formation was perfect, beautiful. And I didn't pay attention to the trend, the upward trending here, so that really messed me up, but the continuation wasn't too bad. So I'll be back. I'm gonna go enjoy Saturday. It's 47 a.m. and I've been up way too long. So I am going to go enjoy my weekend. I hope you do the same. All right. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, if it's helping you in any way, shape, or form. Every time I do this, it makes life easier for me when I put in my actual trades because I'm like weeding out all of the annoying things that I do to lose trades and the things I forget and I don't notice in the charts. All right, guys, have fun. Kira.